Hi everyone, welcome back to Rogue Trader Void Shadows. We're here in the recolligers plot, which is like a scrapper.
I always have a backup plan.
Welcome, your lordiness. Please come right on in. Chief something will have you. And you nitwits, get your gork and quit your gork and get to work. Chief, she'll greet you. It's like itinerant scrappers, recyclers, family guild thing. And
an initial survey of the vessel indicates that my exploratory brethren have already performed a requiem rite here. Further examination is inadvisable.
come on, Jai.
What about the sagacious marauders rooting around in the guts of this dead colossus of the void? Talk to them. Wisdom can be found in unexpected places, Shireen.
And you are true. So yeah, there's been a huge patch dropped today, or yesterday now. I left it downloaded and fell asleep. 1.3, like 1,000 bug fixes and changes and new voice acting, new dialogue, new items, some balances. And a lot of things seem to be centered on Kiava Gamma, which is good, because that's where we're going next after leaving here. So, cool timing.
And done.
The plate reads Lithanos Pride. The name Lithanos surfaces in your mind. The history of a family from the Koronus Expanse who invested all they had in the family ship. The ship perished in the warp on its maiden voyage. The Lithano line never recovered from this crushing blow. They've added, was it 20 different force swords? Instead of like 2.
My warp sight reveals something.
One that Heinrich started with.
Idira, Shireen, dispel my doubts. Can you use your visions to see what card will be dealt at the gaming table?
Of all the times to ask!
Yes, she can. Well, ish. She did have a story about that time Theodora used her
Or get left in the dust.
at a gaming table. It wasn't so much as what card is going to appear, but
Behind the varied colors of your soul, I see very different shades. Less gold and silver, and more and more.
Cass, joy of my eyes. I'm not ashamed to show off my body to others, but do not bear my soul for me.
fair point. Where are you going to?
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Oh, I'm doing it again. Must be clicking on something weird, like a pipe or something. Lordiness, it's just rubbish. Why would you want to go through it? Now, why would you want to go through it, eh? Hey, it's all stuff I can sell to other people.
Keep your wits about you.
Pat back. Pack rack? Pack rat. Jesus Christ, my brain. I've not had any coffee yet. A working area where fragments of the ship are dismantled in search of scraps or valuable metal or parts. A dump site of cut pieces of metal and other materials, probably from clearing out a path deeper into the ship. Right, remember, there isn't much here. I think it's just a bit of lore and a bit of a rumour. Later, a tired-looking woman of indeterminate age, clad in work clothes, breaks off from her tasks to greet you. She freezes momentarily, clearly unsure how to address you, then simply say, "Your lordship, please excuse me. Don't really know your name. Welcome to my little colony. May the light of the Emperor be with you, and with us. My name's Rita Maximova. I'm here, and I'm in charge here. What is this place? We just call ourselves Raiders crew, and this place is Raiders camp. That's it. We're recolligers, scavengers in common terms. She does not speak the word scavengers with any kind of disdain. On the contrary, there is dignity in her voice, the kind which one would announce their affiliation with a respected guild or family. Tossing a glance at Pascal, she grimly adds, "And our work is all legal, even though your brethren have no liking for us." Pascal stares dispassionately at Rata with a hint of disgust. Evidently, he has not even considered the possibility that replying to this creature's words could be anything other than heresy. "What do you do here?" "Right now, we're getting this old heap of junk slowly but surely. That's a recolliger's life for you. We're gutting, not gutting. They drop us off at some decrepit station or an ancient battlefield, and we just sit there for years on ends. We look for working tech or valuable materials or whatever else might be useful. If we find anything, we sell it to passing ships. Not the easiest job out there. These wrecks are chock full of all kinds of dangers, but, and I swear it to my plasma torch, it's an exciting one for sure. This little bird's got all kinds of bells and whistles. Most of the tech is dead, but we do find some working pieces now and then. We spent 2 whole months clearing out this shaft we found. Finished just 3 days ago, actually, and we found this thing, a bit weird looking, but still functional." Rita's expression brightens a little. "Perhaps your lordship would like to buy this component from us. I bet that big ship of yours could get plenty of use out of it." Pascal's box crackles to life. Imperiously, he tells her, "Present the object, laywoman," but curiosity creeps into his voice nonetheless. "I'll buy the component." Rechargeable batteries. 210 experience. Well, isn't this something? The Emperor himself must have smiled upon us. Rita makes a triumphant gesture. Thank you, your lordship. You were pleased with the results. So, it's just some fuel cargo. Didn't cost us anything, though. I don't think, did it? Did we lose it? Items received? No. Her mood visibly improves. "You know, your lordship, it's kind of embarrassing to offer you this, but over there, in that corner there, we keep things we don't rightly understand or really can't use. You could send some of your people to check it out if you like. Clearly you know more about this stuff than us. You might find something useful." "It's unlikely, but I want to ask. You haven't come across any Imperial stamps in your searching, have you?" "We definitely haven't found any stamps here, lordship. I keep a record of all the bits and bobs. Then again, hang on. Just remembered something." "Oh, we did get a seal. Here you go, your lordship." Waiter holds out a weighty seal. There were scratches on the handle where a coat of arms should be. "I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but we got this thing in a trade with some shady blokes years back. My father thought it'd be something important, so it's just been gathering dust until today. Take us the gift. We have no use for it anyway." "Wow, thanks. Just need one more now. That's ingenious." "You got your own ship?" "No, not even close. A luxury like that. You could count the recolligers who got their own ship on one hand. I know an old worker's hand that got sucked into machinery 3 times and slashed by plasma cutters twice. We fly with whoever, mostly just taking our chances. Sometimes we hitch a ride on the promise that we will pay with what we find later. Other times we find some other means. Risky business, obviously. 5 or so years back, a crew got dropped off at an abandoned station, but something wasn't right with the life support systems. The ship came back to pick them up 2 years later and found nothing but bodies. And about 15 years ago, before I had my first little one, a ship took 3 crews to locations and ran into pirates on the way back. The ships go out on expeditions for years at a time, so it was ages before anyone realised they were missing. It was even longer before they remembered the scavengers. Plus it took some time to find a ship that could check up on them and pick them up. Long story short, all 3 crews had bought it. Yep. Can you tell me anything about this wreck? Not much. We know what aircades, you know. We're manual labour. It's an ancient thing, pretty dangerous. We don't really know much beyond that. Before we came here, some tech priests had done their own bit of gutting. I mean, visualizing, bound to the spirits and all that. That lot don't tend to leave a whole lot of valuables behind. It's true, but it's way too scary to go in before them. And hey, we dragged a dozen of their broken servitors out of the mines after. The carcasses smell awful, but you can pluck a decent number of parts out of a servitor and sell them. Doesn't seem like there's anything nasty living inside the wreck now, but the wreck itself is barely holding together. You got a couple of modules from here and that's it. You won't take another step without fearing that a broken reactor might cook you alive, or a whole module might depressurize. Well, it's nothing we haven't handled before, so we're having a poke at it, but we don't have a clue what the ship is or who it belonged to. You take pride in your trade, I see. Sure do. You take skill and luck and a good head on your shoulders. We risk our lives every day crawling on top of these old buckets. If something goes wrong, we die, by the scores sometimes. One moment we're there, the next we're gone. Kind of like work at ants. But you know what, your lordship? Our job also has something, how shall I put it, poetic about it. Hope you don't judge me too harshly, and don't take it as insolence, but some people, even big people like you, think too highly of themselves. Let's say your ship hops into the warp someday, and doesn't hop out of it in time. Around 1,000 years later, another girl like me, who needs to feed her 3 ankle biters somehow, will be rifling through its remains, looking for anything good. That's just the nature of things. Each of us comes and goes, but the way the world works stays the same. We all have our lot in our life, and mine is just as good as any other. Yeah, that's what they did in the patch yesterday. A lot more chances to get extra points here and there. Nah, I don't. I'm more of a I'm not so much of an arrogant heretic as an anarchist heretic. There's something to you. No, what do I need? Do I need dogmatic? I can't have a look at the moment. I think I need dogmatic. No, that's crap as well. I think I've got dogmatic 1 by now. There is something to your philosophy. That's what my gramps taught me. He was a recoliger and a foreman too. He had some fancy schmancy thoughts in that idea of his. They lived to a ripe old age with them. Now line of work, which means those thoughts weren't all bad. I can take you from this place. It's not safe here. Sooner or later it will drift somewhere so remote that nobody will ever find you again. But this is our whole livelihood, your lordship. You take us from here, and what are we going to do? Sit in some hold, slaving away? Here we've got our own colony, our own operation. No, this is our path. We won't stray from it. I see. Your lordship, Rita falters as if flustered by her own nerve. Please don't take it as insolence. It's not like I have much choice. It's not often that we get well-stocked ships around here, and we could certainly use more provisions and some warm clothes. If it's something you'll be willing to provide, we will gladly barter for it with something we can dig up inside the ship here. It's just respectful offer of fair trade. She bows slightly before stepping aside.
I always have a backup plan.
Okay.
1 and it's done.
A damaged safe. The contents of similar safes are destroyed when hacking is attempted. You should not try to open it just like that, but something from the environment could help. Something is propped up against the door from the inside. You can hear the piercing sounds of a saw and other tools coming from behind it. Excuse me. A small collection of valuable finds, carefully sorted and packed. Oh, I thought you wanted some trade. Maybe that's when I leave.
I always keep my options open.
In this work of crude craftsmanship, you can just make out one of the depictions of the Emperor commonly seen in the Koronus Expanse. The apparatus gurgles and emits a strong smell of alcohol, probably not the industrial variety. Examine the pile of rubbish.
As it should be.
There's nothing here but cheap metal scrap. Simple machinery and tools. Look a little worn, but well maintained.
Let us not dawdle.
I did it?
On the wreckage was an instruction manual for the duty officer how to access the safes. You can obtain the codes to the safes by logging into the ship's cogitators. Oh, get experience for this. Nearly level 30 already, Jesus. That DLC really does add a lot of extra experience.
Operation successful.
The cogitator appears to be inoperative.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
And another inoperative one. Oh, still an experience for it. How many do we need now? 140. We're not going to level up trying these broken cogitators.
The machine god grants me insight.
The cogitator is off, but appears intact. You can try to power it from the local source. Connect the cable to the cogitator.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
And find the code to the safe.
Operation successful.
I thought he was going to fail another 90% one day, like he did in the DLC area. You successfully logged in with the duty officer's credentials. Obtain the code to the old safe.
Is there money to be made?
Safe code note. Yeah, which one is it this? Code for the duty officer. Retrieved from the cogitator aboard the old shipwreck. Oh, it's the newest to oldest, that's good. Add that to cargo. And this is all stuff I got from the well, that was from the administratum. These are just things I picked up here and there. Oh, that was the black ship. Okay, let's keep that. No, I'm going to keep that. Just trying to clear out this area. I mean, this doesn't really achieve anything. I mean, it's not, I mean, there's no weight to anything. It's just annoying to see it all constantly. Unless this is because the hatch and it's all just reappeared. I don't know if the new items have been retrospectively added in. I'm looking down here to see whether it's added to cargo or not. If it's not worth adding. Keep that because it's funny. I think it was from a DLC, or from the DLC. Okay, we've got that. We've got that. That was from Aurora. That was from Theodora. Okay. Most of the rest can be thrown into my big thing on the ship. Toxic knife. They did a lot of things like the ancient 4 sword I've got there. They've added 20 more swords around. And one of the bugs they fixed was some toxic knives weren't applying toxin and stuff like that. So there's a massive list of things they fixed. That can only be now used by unsanctioned Psyker, I remember, or someone with divination. So either the main character or a dealer only. What is that consign? Next hit, will it be a critical hit? Meh. Our next hit against every enemy in combat will be an automatic critical hit. That's fucking Bello, isn't it? Silent verdict. Two-handed sword. Why did I... Oh yeah, armor penetration for the Death Cult Power Blade. That's why I changed over. And they reduced a lot of damage from blast pistols. And a lot of things that look like pistols weren't actually classed as pistols. That was fixed as well. Arc rifles were fixed. Some of them didn't work at all. And apparently a lot of items that said they could be used by Erliet and Marazai couldn't be used by Erliet and Marazai. So that's been fixed. Okay. A fractal blade. It's Eldari. 40% armor penetration. Plus 25 parry. A bit like the Ghost Blade. The Chameleon Cloak. Got one of these already from somewhere. And a 5 grenade times 2. Chameleon Cloak is just a straight up 10% dodge, isn't it? That's the camouflage. Where is it? Yeah, it's just straight up 10% dodge. What have you got for cloak? Yeah, it's not bad. In case you blow yourself up. Yeah, why not? Yep. I don't know if that works with his plasma. I've got to check that next time, see if it affects bleeding. 8 stacks is a lot. What's it based on? Penetration divided by 5. So 7 or 8. Okay. Well, LB, they opened it. Must have been nice. Must be nice to be learned. We never would have cracked it. Okay, that's a bit of dialogue there.
Keep your wits about you.
Okay, that's the recolligers. And we got a seal, which is cool. Do we trade with them now? I can't recall. The lights keep flickering in the bowels of the dead ship as the recolligers go back through their tasks. Rita Maximova sends you her best regards and asks what the colony can do for the rogue trader. Dispatch a supply shuttle to the recolligers. Provisions which I hardly ever use for anything. Rita thanks you for this generosity and sends back a cargo shuttle loaded with dismantled vessel components. It will be a while before the colony requires another shipment. Their needs are satisfied for now, and regardless, the recolligers need time to extract new components from the guts of the dead ship. So I didn't get anything. But we did get that fuel from before. So it kind of swings and roundabouts, I guess. Okay, let's head out to Kiava Gamma. Tenebris Aquae. Aquae? Lord Captain, an urgent report comes from the vessel shrine. A group of unknown assailants have invaded his temple and plundered the incorruptible relics of your ancestors, slaughtering devout worshippers as they went. The High Factotum was among the casualties. What? Had Master Monteg and Mistress Saurbeck not arrived in time? Fortunately, Master Danrock survived and remains conscious, albeit in great pain. He implores your lordship to come to the temple and hear his confession. From Cabela. And so it comes to pass. Cabela's somber voice fills the broadcast. I performed a reading of his tarot after the morning watch siren, but the visions sent by the Undying One were too indistinct. I saw rivers of blood flowing towards the bones of the dead, and a blurred figure laughing, treading upon the ashes of the fallen. It is now clear. The Undying One desires me to follow the figure's tracks. Thus my hunt begins. Yeah, I guess so. What the hell's this? Danrock getting injured. How long have I been recording? 27 minutes. 28 minutes. Okay. Traitorous vermin, I'll get you wherever you are. Lord Captain, the great relic has been stolen. This is sacrilege. Let us bring his wrath down upon our foes. May the retribution be inescapable and their punishment severe. The Master at Arms is barking orders, Professor Adalbert is murmuring a prayer, and the Furnace Master is circling the chapel with keen eyes of watching for a threat. Cabela quickly sweeps her gaze over the destruction before focusing on the bloody footprints that stretch from the ruins of the reliquary. The High Factotum's velvet coat is streaked with blood, and Janus himself is deathly pale. A Medicaid officer is working on the black gunshot wound in his chest. Janus grunts faintly with every touch. He focuses his eyes on you with tremendous effort. Forgive me for not greeting your lordship with a bow. I must tell you, Nemesite has stolen the great relic. Nemesite? Yet another spin on that old wives' tale. This old wives' tale was blessed with an amazing corporality. Whoever that bastard in the red scarf was, he went by that name and spoke very impertinently of your lordship. He dared to mock your generosity and sneeringly thanked you for the supplies you used to pacify the serfs of the Foundry Bay. The scoundrel boasted that his fighters have made good use of the gifts. Just another arrogant rebel wrapping himself in the crimson rag and wreaking havoc for the adoration of the commoners. Not this time. No one has ever dared to raid the upper decks before. Never in the ship's history has the fury of the rabble been so blind and fierce. Janus, what happened? Serfs in red headscarves burst into the chapel and started shooting. The leader made for the relic, the remains of the honourable rogue traders brought here from the mutant solid crypt. When I realised the sacred ashes of your ancestors were about to fall into the filthy hands of the heretic, one intent on desecrating the glorious dynasty. No, that cannot be allowed to happen. I blocked his path. Janus briefly closed his eyes, gathering his strength. The bastard allowed himself a few vile insults against me, which I am obliged to admit. I did not give in to the provocation. I was hoping to buy myself more some time. Then this so-called Nemesite started reviling the customs of the ship, berating its officers and enforcers, being for insulting the very name of your lordship yourself. I threw my glove in his face and demanded a duel, but the honourless villain just shot me. He laughed at me, the depraved creature. He winces either from a new burst of pain or from the memory of the humiliation he so recently endured. Then he committed sacrilege by stealing the relic and shattering the sarcophagus. Forgive me, your lordship. I failed to preserve the sacred ashes of your ancestors. Inspect the empty altar behind him. The reliquary has been brutally smashed, and the bed on which the sacred ashes of the past rogue traders and the servants once rested is now empty. How exactly did he insult me? I beg forgiveness, your lordship. Dare not repeat that it's slander. I insist. What did he say about me? He called you a ghoul who sits on a throne of bones, feasts on the raw flesh of his servants. Forgive me, your lordship. Merely repeating these foul words is making me ill. Well, that's any kind of feudal system, isn't it? Why did you wish to see me so urgently? No, I had to apologise to you. I had to repent. Mrs. Bitterleaf. For many years I did my best to serve the dynasty. But at the most crucial hour I failed. Shame scorches my pathetic, cowardly heart, your lordship. I had to tell you how deeply remorseful I am. Hold on, Janus. I will not let you die here. Proud to serve the dynasty. Janus's thoughts are becoming muddled. The papers, your lordship. Have the clerk double-check the freight bills. I didn't have time to get the seals. My will is in the left-hand drawer. How badly is the High Factotum wounded? He's losing a lot of blood. The Medicaid officer casts a worried look at you. I advise you to hurry. Master Danrock should be on the convergence table as soon as possible. I'm holding on, your lordship. Worry not. What matters now is that you recover the relic. The Factotum groans as the Medicaid officer pulls the blood-soaked bandage aside and shakes his head dolefully. From Adalbert. Some miracle preserved Master Danrock's life long enough they might address you. His fate now rests in the hands of the Emperor. May he show mercy to this selfless man. Heinrich, did you see the attack? I did not. I was on my way to offer prayer when I heard the gunfire and ran as fast as I could. When I got here, I saw Master Danrock and the next thing I did was to press his wound and spout curses. Heinrich looked at his bloodied hands in confusion. So much for being a heroic repairman. I wasn't much use, was I? I was strangled this Nemesite with my own two hands. May the Emperor protect your... Factotum eyes roll back to his enormous frame, gives a convulsive shudder. The Medicaid officer snatches a syringe of stimulants and speaks decisively. Apologies, your lordship, but we're taking Master Danrock away. He's unable to tell you anything more at the present, and every second delay could cost him his life. Master Danrock is succumbing to his wounds. Something else up here. Heinrich watches the limp body of the Factotum get carried away, and chews grimly on his low stick that's peered between his teeth. So what do we have so far? Master Danrock is on his deathbed. All the attackers are either dead or have absconded away with the sacred relic, and all the witnesses all agree the same thing. Nemesite, and his accomplices came out of nowhere and struck suddenly. Only the throne knows where we can find those bastards now. We will find them. Sandbag's voice is full of terrible fury. We'll turn this vessel inside out if we must. There's nowhere even a void rat can. Kibella. There is no need. The blood's whisper will lead us to Nemesite. Kibella's words make the two exchange puzzled glances. She's going to look at the blood there. The blood's whisper? Did you perform another divination? Yes and no. Its terror guided me here and told me the evil lurked in the shrine. But beyond that, the bloody path carelessly tread by the raiders will reveal the truth. From Saddleback. Though due respect, Spinner, the enforcers have already questioned all the witnesses and compiled an extensive list of evidence, none of which tells anything about how or where the troublemaker calling himself Nemesite might have escaped to. Kibella, tell us everything you know. Kibella sharply turns to face the crimson splashes on the floor and walls of the shrine. Her pupils dilate, threatening to drown her irises in darkness. The expression turns distant, her voice becoming low and strange. This blood is drawn in a pattern of retribution. The one who spilled it appeared later. They moved swiftly and furiously, numb to their own wounds. An enforcer who was drawn to the gunfire witnessed the sacrilege? Probably. As for this pattern, Kibella points to a barely visible chain of scarlet droplets. It was made in fury and desperation. The one who left it was wounded, but they did not flee. They fought back while they could. Then they retreated into the darkness. Kibella's eyes close as she falls silent. Then she exhales sharply and points with a steel claw into the darkness of the maintenance tunnels beneath the walls of the shrine. You gleaned all of that from a couple of bloodstains, or did you have a vision? There was no need for revelations of the undying Emperor here, one who has dedicated their life to understand the tenets of the web. Death speaks a language clearer than any words. Blood writes the chronicle of the final hour, and it holds all the answers. It speaks to me. It can tell me what instrument it was spilt, with what instrument it was spilt, what its owner felt, whether it struggled in terror or as cold as steel of the blade. At what moment and how the thread map snapped. For a spinner, no two wounds were alike, and each scarlet drop carries a message from the Undying One. From Einrich, I'm glad she's on our side. Einrich scratched the back of his head, smiling wryly. If the attackers have escaped through the maintenance tunnels, we can send the enforcers in after them. From Saddleback. The technical corridors extend hundreds of meters in different directions. Nemesite and his men must be familiar with the tunnels and possess either a map or a guide. Without a clear trail, the enforcers risk getting lost and wasting valuable time. Not to mention the fact that those narrow tunnels are perfect for an ambush. So we still have no idea where to find Nemesite. The tunnels only answer the question of how they left. Now Death will tell us where he's heading. As if in a trance, Kibella leans over the body and peers into his eyes. He stinks of smoke. The smoke of singed coveralls, wild low sticks, burnt sacred unguents, and charred meat. She slides a pale hand along the dead man's skin and snakes it under the sleeve of his coveralls, which she pushes back to reveal a fresh burn, bandaged with a torn scrap of shirt. His steel claw digs into the dead man's arm. Your wound holds the answer. You dressed it carefully, not inside the shrine. Before that, something struck you, ripped the tissue apart, burned you, turned your hand into a worthless lump. It was not fire, no. Drawing a ragged breath, Kibella opens her eyes. The fury of the conductive charge has marked you, heretic. I recognise your wound, but I myself have counted on those I take to the other side within the plasma drive chambers. Plasma drive chambers, are you certain? The Undying One has blessed me with the ability to see the truth and death. How can anyone doubt the revelations his blessing bestows? From Einrich. I can't say if it's worth drawing conclusions based on the conversation with the corpse. But if it is, then I concur with the esteemed spinner's findings. The Infernus Master spits out the chewed up low stick and immediately produces another. All that about burns, the conductive charge and the smell of cheap low immediately made me think of the plasma drive technical compartments. Makes sense to me. Sail back and gather the enforcers. We'll follow Nemesite's trail. No, darling Jellybobs, you must stay. You're the one that Nemesite has challenged, and those we hunt know you by sight. You will frighten away the prey. We will lose the trail until the next tragedy occurs. Cabella's unblinking gaze meets your own. So what do we suggest we do? I will go to the plasma drive chambers alone. I will track down the false champion and all who serve him, and I will prepare the grounds for your own hunt. Jocasta. Out of the question. An enforcer squad would certainly scare off the vermin. I'm not letting you go alone, servant of death. You and I will go to the chambers together, and together we'll bring down all who have dared to insult the Lord Captain. I'm going too. I have a couple of good friends in the plasma chambers. The nosy kind, who know everything about everyone. Convincing them shouldn't be difficult, especially if I pull off a few favours. It'll be the three of us then. What a company. Heinrich's grim laughter echoes inside the shrine. There's an awkward pause. Cabela takes a long look at the officers' faces before finally nodding her assent. So be it. But not like this. Much like your faces, your guises are too conspicuous. Cabela is right. Prudent to use a disguise. The enforcers will procure regular work clothes for us. We will carry out inconspicuous weapons that we can hide easily in our tool bags. It should help us blend into a crowd. Before I depart for Nemesite, I ask the Domin to bless me. Pledge never to leave your side, yet the hunt demands that I do just that. Grant me this permission by performing the ceremony of twining. Cabela nods towards the altar. When your people have taken their leave, under the gaze of the Undying One, we'll begin the rite. What is this ceremony? The rite of blessing for the sacred hunt. With it, the Domin casts their shadow over the path of carnage. Under your benediction, I will strike harder and tread more softly. Very well. Let the ceremony commence. With your permission, Lord Captain, the Furnace Master and I will take our leave now. Set out, prepare for the descent into the chambers. We dare not intrude, your lordship. And I need some strepsils. So I'll get that now. Okay. Sit down now, Dom and Jellybobs, and listen. Let the ceremony of twining begin. Using a finely honed blade, Cabela carves an intricate symbol into the floor. She then produces a small bundle, wrapped in incense-laden parchment, and sets it alight. You are my Domin. I am your blade, and I am honed by your blessing. My arms are strong while your will is strong. As long as the Undying One hears your prayers, my feet will go unheard. A blade kisses her palm, and dark blood begins to trickle and spread over the bottom of the ritual cup that has just now appeared in her hands. With our blood and with our will, I love the sound changing. We shall spin the scarlet web, the symbol of the hunt, may herald our praised demise. Cabela puts the dagger into your hand, and you suddenly feel how heavy your eyelids have become. Your heartbeat slows inside your chest. Her words linger, then rush through your mind in a deluge. A heavy scent of incense envelops you and makes your head spin. I feel strange what's happening. For the twining to happen, you must first expand your mind, see the unseen, hear the unheard. Those who live and die by the tenets of the web often burn sacred essences, and your body is not yet accustomed to them. Your mind is trying to grasp at its new boundaries. Do not resist. Breathe deeply. Learn. Must have really wounded myself for this. The price of victory, the price of defeat, is always measured in blood. Get within Dying One but a few drops today, and he may prevent your flagship from running through Scarlet Rivers tomorrow. Make a small cut on your palm. The pain gives way to a burning sensation as Cabela grasps your hand and squeezes it over the ritual cup. But this new discomfort is quickly replaced again, this time by dull numbness and the faint warmth of blood flowing from your open wound. The twining is the blood oath I've made to my lord. Cabela dips her fingers in the blood spilt and traces a symbol, first on her own forehead, then on yours. It appears to resemble a blade that has cut through an intricate knot. Anoint me with your blessing, Domin Jellybobs, and may the ceremony of twining commence. Cabela's face blurs before your eyes. No matter how hard you try to focus and dispel the vision, in place of her face you see a death mask, a broken skull with hollow eye sockets. I see strange things within you and without. The skull grins benignantly? That's not a word. Benignly. You're learning to see what is hidden behind the familiar shell. Keep practicing, and years later you'll be able to see the truth, even with your eyes closed. May your fury and resolve be unshakable. One who follows the thread of the web fights not out of rage, but the mind is cold as stone. Nevertheless, rage can become a potent weapon in the hands of a punisher. I understand, Dom and Jellybobs. I accept your blessing. Ooh, maybe I asked that one up then. Cabela thinks for a moment. Your body cannot accompany us on this chase, Domin, but your spirit. There's nothing the spirit cannot do. The twining is complete. You and I are both now bound by the blood oath. Think of me while I hunt, as I will think of you. Become a thought flowing through my mind. If the Undying One is gracious to us, he will send you dreams, and in those dreams you will see me. He's more gracious still, those dreams will be truthful. So I will become a part of you? What does that mean? Your spirit will come with me to the plasma drive chambers, while your body remains motionless. If the Undying One graces you, you will hear what I hear and see what I see. You will think my thoughts as if they were your own. But if you shout out to me, if you give me an order, I will not hear it. Only the ripples of your mind can reach me through the winding thread. Is this some kind of Psyker sorcery? She's going to say no. She snaps in irritation. Do not sully your lips with such suspicions. We are neither witches nor accursed sorcerers. We are his votaries, and for our true service we are thus rewarded. This is no profane psychic art, but the blessing of the Undying One, bestowed upon the spinners of the blood-spun web, a thin thread of spiritual kinship that connects the fates of the dominee of those of their shadows. Cabela can call it what she wants, but your senses tell a different story. A fine thread of psychic connection is stretched between your minds. It's too weak to let you see or feel through another's consciousness, and yet it's too strong to be dismissed as insignificant. I trust you, Cabela. Let's begin. You perceive a faint smile from beneath the metal mask. Cabela hands you the cup and begins tracing her finger around the bottom while whispering a prayer. Watch now, Dom and Jellybobs. What does thy seeing eye behold in the converging patterns of blood? She draws your attention to the symbols she has inscribed. You see shifting images in the blood, a spider crafting a fine web, blurred shadows that could resemble either a swarm of void rats or an enraged hound. Cross blades, a card of the Emperor's Tarot. But as soon as your gaze lingers on any one of them, reality bleeds through the fluid shapes. Soon your spirit will be able to follow me. I will bid the servants to carry your body to your chambers, where you will not be disturbed. Wait in silence and safety. For me, the hunt has begun. Cabela's footsteps fade away, melting into the same impenetrable darkness in which your consciousness is extinguished. The sound comes back again. Cool. Light tempo change there, new music. Oh, Beccabella. Stale air, oppressive noise. The hum and whir of machinery drown out all thoughts. This place rings with tension. It is the powerful energy coursing through the cables. Or is it? Or have walls of workers merged into a cacophony of indignant whispers and desperate prayers? Lost, mired in petty troubles, unmindful of duty, their voices creak as if covered in rust, and their eyes are dimmed by the endless drudgery and lack of light here in the working decks of the Dominion's great ark. I have seen it before. In these murky depths, people become creatures all too ready to devour each other for worldly gains, fleeting pleasures, or imaginary freedom from obligation born from the abyss of spiritual emptiness. The Undying One punishes them through me. Disgusting mutations, abominations, reflections of vice are born in these shadows, and I will be their doom. The thread shakes. The web is taut. I step silently. Let the great hunt begin. The thread shakes. The quarry always leaves a trail. We may not see it, but we can feel it. I taste the air, a scent of fresh dye with a subtle note of sparks. This is new, pleasant. The upper decks reek of luxury, but here I feel uncomfortable. There is something else. This is it. I recognize the smell. Unguent, low and burnt meat. Just like inside the shrine. The time has come to spin the scarlet web. The web is taut. Know the hunting ground. To find the enemy I must listen. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. It's like a prodigious song. The rhythmic beat of engines and pumps. That is the ship's breathing. That is the ship's heartbeat. Is it strange that I feel at home among the workers of the lower decks who pass their time like the living dead? Warmth spreads through my chest. I like to think that is the connection with which the Undying One bound my and the Dominion's fates together. He has blessed us, and we hunt as one. I step silently. Darkness is our ally, merged with the shadows. In the twilight of the chamber, barely illuminated by flickering candlelight, I become like them, the lost, mired servants. They will become unwitting allies in my hunt. Their hopelessness, their desperation, their thirst for survival will become tools for my use. Where's the second spinner? We're supposed to meet there. Meet here. You know that feeling when you're being stared at, but you can't tell who, by where or when? I feel like that now. Footsteps, two are coming, toward me. Familiar gates, those are the Domin servants. Steel Mistress. I will not be surprised if the cultists sent out the trail of Nemesite alone. The spinners are arrogant. We are just another soul to them, a gift to offer death. Steel Mistress to Castor. Steel Mistress's voice is hard and cold, like her will. I can see in her eyes that she dislikes me. She is weary, and so she should be. We serve the Domin, not one another. This is Kibella's point of view of these people. Cool. Flaming voice. Does this remind you of anyone at all, Jocasta? This man is enamored with fire. Even his words sound full of biting flames. He himself enjoys playing with fire. Too much so. They bicker again. Their mutual animosity may disrupt the hunt. Examine Steel Mistress and Flaming Voice. To the lay people, the two are now scarcely distinguishable from common serfs. In a world where status and privilege are defined by appearance, a single piece of rotting cloth is enough to lower your standing. We will become spectral hounds and follow the trail without drawing attention. Step forward. I am here. There she is, Welcome to the plasma drive chambers, esteemed holy assassin. You can exchange pleasantries later. Lieutenant Gaudier is on duty in this compartment. I've ordered her to gather information on all the workers who wear red scarves and who recently left the bay. This is pointless. The red scarf is not proof of guilt. It's merely a symbol. It could be a trap. I need to find her. I will watch the enforcer and those who are watching her in turn. Yep. The enforcer knows nothing about life in this compartment, I guarantee it. I have a better source of information. A good friend of mine who knows a lot about delicate matters. It's easy to get him to talk. He's terrified of pain and death. Only the faithless fear death. I would not trust him. Let him trust me so that his trust may become a snare for my hunt. I cut them off with a gesture. Their methods of hunting are not mine. But I take the grain of truth from their words and weave it into my plan. We need to provoke them into making a move. It's still a false sense of impunity. Maybe? Hang on, I'll have a coughing fit. I'm gonna pause. It lasted a bit longer than I thought it would. It's still a false sense of impunity. Convince them that they can and must act now. This enforcer who answers to Steel Mistress is a symbol of order and obedience in these chambers. She is standing in the way. When she disappears, my enemies will believe it's safe to strike. And that will be a costly mistake. Strike out the spark that will ignite the flame. Leave them lurking in the crowd, my enemies. They're cautious. I must find them and let them believe their luck. Then they will shed their masks and will make them down. I will take them down. Intimidate them with an impending threat. Flaming voice relies on a talker, one who keeps no secrets and fears pain. An unreliable vessel is bad for holding secrets, but good for spilling them. Through him, I will whisper many lies to the enemy. Such is my plan. They look at me in silence. They do not understand yet, but that matters little. I am on the hunt. Okay. That's a new image. That's weird seeing that image there. Okay. So we're controlling Kibella on her own. And that is where I will save this episode and end. Well, this took a turn. We're supposed to be on the way to Kiava Gamma. And now we're dragged into the plasma drive chambers. What's down here? Grey hands, spring, bitter. Okay. Well, anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Next episode, I guess we go. I'll carry on with the card inverted. And find out what's going on and who this Nemesite is. Why they wanted with the ashes of our forebears. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.